My name is Lisa Serino. I am Assistant Commissioner in the Office of Quality Schools at the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, but you can call us DESE. I'm here today to open this public hearing. It is required by statute for districts that have been unaccredited and are provisionally accredited and have not yet returned to full accreditation status. And at this moment in time, that is the situation that Normandy Schools Collaborative finds itself in. So the purpose of this hearing tonight is to bring community members together to capture information that can be useful to the district about ways that the community can help the district return to full accreditation status. So the district members have a program for you this evening. There will be an opportunity after the program. We'll break into small groups and discuss some key questions that get at the purpose of this hearing, which is how to help Normandy Schools Collaborative return to fully accredited status. At the end of that discussion period, each of the groups, there'll be an opportunity to report out. And then at the end, I will adjourn the meeting, the hearing at 7 p.m. I do want to let folks know that this meeting is being live streamed and a recording will be available. So there is an opportunity for others who are not able to be here in the room to participate in this discussion. So before we move the agenda along, I would like to recognize a couple of my DESE colleagues who are with me here this evening. Lisa Hazel is Area Supervisor in the St. Louis region, and Shanika Williams is Charter Director at the department, I don't think that I have missed any. We may have another colleague or two that will join us as the evening moves along. Now I would like to introduce our Deputy Commissioner, Kyle Cruz. Dr. Cruz has the experience of being in a superintendent in Missouri school districts, and he has been with the department for a relatively short period of time. But during that time, he has gained a reputation for steadfastness and that calm, reserve, being able to work through complicated information and sometimes maybe not such pleasant information when we think about budgets and budget cuts. Be able to communicate that clearly and gain confidence and trust of stakeholders. So let me turn the microphone over to Dr. Cruz, and he's going to provide a few welcoming remarks. And I'm supposed to check that up.
Thank you. Dr. Serino is very kind. I appreciate her remarks very much. She's correct. I was a school superintendent in Missouri. I actually served 32 years in public education and 20 years of those as superintendent. So I have been around the block a time or two. I was actually in the Capitol at about the time the current school funding formula was written, and I revisited on many occasions, and I actually have done school finance sessions for MASA and other groups around the state. So my primary focus tonight, though, isn't to talk about finance, it's to talk about schools and kids, and I'll keep my remarks brief. But first off, I do want to bring greetings from Commissioner Carla Esslinger and the entire staff at the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and also our thanks for being here on a cold winter evening to talk about how we can help kids. Any day we talk about how to do good things for students, for our children, is a good day, and I appreciate very much all of you being here tonight, taking time out of your schedules, and making a point of gathering together to talk about the difficult work that sometimes has to happen, and to talk about the bright futures that we can give our children at the end of that work. I appreciate very much the chance to meet your superintendent, Dr. Triplett, your board president, Dr. Petty, and other school board members. They've just been a delight and welcomed us wholeheartedly, and I'm grateful. I'm also grateful for the fact that I look around the room and I see on the tables some chart paper that talk about community engagement and attendance and academic performance, because those are the big things that can move the needle. And I want you to know that communities around the state are having the same discussions about the same topics. We're all in it together, and together we can find the good solutions to do best for our children, for our students, and give them the kind of future they deserve. So thank you again for being here. I'm happy to be as much help as I can. I hope to listen tonight and learn. I certainly don't have the answers to all the problems and all the situations that we face, but I do want to be part of the solution. So thank you very much again for the warm welcome, and thank you again for being here. I believe next up is Dr. Petty. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I'd like to begin by first acknowledging Dr. Michael Triplett, our superintendent of schools, and his team. We, as a board, on behalf of the Joint Executive Governing Board, we want to thank them for the work that they do each and every day. Again, I'm Dr. Christopher Petty, and I am the president of the school board, and I'd like to acknowledge my fellow board members who are with us here tonight. I'd like to begin with Vice President Teresa Pearson, who's with us. Please recognize Vice President Teresa Pearson. I'd also like to recognize Director William Humphrey, who was also a former and past board president. William Humphrey. We also have with us tonight Cheryl Milton Roberts, who is also a past board president. We have Director Erica Edwards, who is a past board vice president with us tonight. Erica Edwards. And unfortunately, the board secretary, Violet Taylor, is unable to be with us tonight. She is home ill, and the other director, Deanna Day, is unable to be with us tonight. With that being said, we're hoping for tonight that everyone understands words are most effective when they're associated with action. And hopefully tonight's meeting can bring us to those actions that are going to be most effective for our efforts in terms of teaching and learning and providing a better educational product for our students. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chris Trahan. I'm Communications Director for Normandy. I wanted to repeat a little bit of what Lisa said about how this event is going to take place. We're going to do a brief presentation from the superintendent and members of his cabinet. After the presentation, everyone's going to have an opportunity to participate in the tabletop discussions. You will see at where you're sitting, there are 3 questions that we want you to think about tonight. How can we best boost academic performance? How do we raise attendance? And how do we engage the community? And when we say we, we're not just talking about the school district, we're talking about everyone in this room, we collectively. So we want to hear from everyone, we want your ideas, and we want to take that and improve the district. So we will begin the presentation. So we always begin our presentations with our mission. Normandy Schools Collaborative prepares global leaders for college career and productive citizenship by empowering a community of confident learners and valuing the unique contributions of each student. The district currently has 5 strategic plans, and you're going to hear from about 3 of the strategic plans tonight. And we want to go ahead and begin that. We'll have Dr. Triplett begin his presentation, and you will hear from the superintendent and some of his cabinet members.
So good evening. So let me start off by saying thank you for attending tonight's hearing. We want to start off with some demographics, district demographics. Let me do this. How about that? So currently we have 2,583 students. Of that, did I do that? Of that 2,583, we have a growing ELL population. We had 240. We have 409 SPED students, and we have general students. We have 1934. Who are our students? So of the 2,583 students, 69.6% are African American. That represents 1,798. 22.2% are unclassified. That's 573. And what that is that they have not identified who they wanted to identify on their enrollment forms, and that is legally, that is their right. Our next population is the Hispanic population, which represents 130 students. Then our Caucasian population, which represents 49. Then multiracial, 28, Asian 4, Pacific Islander 1. So who are our students? Our students are kind of, the percentage-wise, they're kind of close. It was surprising to know that we have more males in school than females. I was glad to hear that. Our males represent 1,313, and our female students represent 1,270. So with regards to our culture and climate survey, I wanted to give you a briefing of our culture and climate survey. In the past, we typically hover around 200 or 300 students who take the surveys. We hover around 40 to 70 parents who take the surveys, and we do pretty good with staffing who take the surveys. This year, we opened the survey window from October 6th through November 6th. We had, and I hate to say this number because we got some alphas in here. We had 1,906, 1,906 students who took the survey this year, as opposed to about 200 last year. We had, in that breakdown, early childhood represented 11% with 222 students. Elementary grades 1 through 5, 651 students representing 32%. The secondary schools represented 1,033, those grades 6 through 12 representing 51%. Our parents, the number increased, but slightly. We're still working on that. That's an opportunity for us. We had about 205 parent responses. So overall, what the key theme of all of the surveys is centered around safety, relationship, communication, cleanliness, and academic support. The top three takeaways staff, burdens, and consistent expectations. Need SEL and de-escalation support. With parents and safety concerns, communication gaps, and a desire for stronger academic supports. Now, what are we doing about it? For the students, we're doing a climate reset. So we'll have some conversations with buildings at the beginning of the semester next year, and have some conversations around what climate reset looks like. Mentoring, advisory, clean and safe environments, etc. With staff, there will be some conversations around climate non-negotiable skills, restorative practices, and SEL training. With parents, data dashboard, so we want to keep our parents in contact. all of our surveys will, I'll make sure you put the survey itself, results of the surveys, and then I'll give you a breakdown of the survey. So you can see the hard numbers, what people are saying about it, and what's about it. So with regards to district health, so we had on November 7th, we had a meeting with the commission. And although it was a good meeting, it wasn't pretty to hear. And sometimes things are not pretty to hear. And the message was clear. We have to have transformation for our next time. Okay? So I want to make sure I have that message. So MSIP and the APR. So just to give you just a quick lesson about these terms, what these terms mean. The Missouri School Improvement Program outlines the potential of school government. It supports the statewide goal that each student graduates ready. It produces an APR for each local and regional agency. The purpose of our APR program indicates progress. Each school for sustains adopted by all student districts. It's produced for all school districts. It's used to process and classify school district needs, status, and it's required for review decisions made by the Joint Council. It's one of the many ways parents evaluate. So what is this? This is where the scoring happens. And it's easy to see. You can look at the score here. This represents grades. This is performance. That means we have to focus on this one that represents 7% and the rest of the days. So I put this slide up here because I want you to know that since this began, they take 3 years of data and they do a composite to create. The first 3 years, you got a composite score, but it wasn't used to affect the district's status. In 25, they took 3 years data, but that data could be used to rate your status, but not lower your status. Now, I put this here because in 2026, which is next year, that scoring will be used to either raise or lower, could be used to raise or lower your status. That's why I put this here, because this is important. And it drives home the conversation around why our scores need to be transformational for next year. So what's key? This column here, can you guys see this? Okay. This is an important area right here. What this does, it tells us the possible points, the points we earned, and then the percentage we earned. And typically, that percentage is where you gain your accreditation status. This year we scored 51%, which is lower than the past 3 to 4 years. But our composite for the last few years is still at 55%. Although we scored at 51 this year, it's a composite of over 3 years. This is just a breakdown of how we scored. For ELA, of the possible points, we had 6, it was 50%. And it gives you an NPI score, that's a NAP Performance Index, and it tells you if you're approaching, emerging, on track, target, floor, and it has, I didn't give you that matrix, but it dictates where you fit on that spectrum. So this is just a breakdown. Now these, although I'm going a little fast through this scorecard will be on the website for your viewing. And individual schools will have theirs on their website as well. So there's a performance side and there's a continuous improvement side. And this is how you get your score. Now how did we perform? Now, if you look on, Success ready students, it tells you where you performed, and then it gives you a total at the bottom. So you divide 46 points earned versus 140 possible points, and you get this. This is for performance, and then you go down to continuous improvement. If you look, we do pretty good with continuous improvement because some of those things we've done the pre-work, and some of the things are given based on pre-work and other pieces of the formula. Culture climate surveys, continuous improvement plan, evaluate response to standards, and other required documentation, and then success ready measures. If you can see, we've done pretty well in that area. The area we need to concentrate on, not saying that we don't need to give this attention, but we have to concentrate really, really hard on this performance area. So before I give the microphone to Dr. McConnell, I do want to say that we currently have a strategic plan, and we're currently working on a CSIP plan, but we needed a quick response to what the APR data was saying to us. So we created an accreditation plan, and that accreditation plan sometime next week will be placed on the district website as well. And in that plan, I just wanted to tell you we had 7 really powerful high-level overviews that I would mention that we're focusing on that should get us the points we need to have a solid above 70 APR score. We're going to focus on strengthening Tier 1 instruction across every classroom, implement district-wide assessment readiness systems, build powerful PLCs and data teams that drive instruction, increase proportional attendance to maximize APR points, elevate college and career readiness through full pathway implementation, protect every APR point through data integrity and accurate reporting, state reporting, and we're going to strengthen leadership accountability and monitoring systems. If we put all of those things in place, we'll keep a strong handle on what's happening in the classroom, what support teachers need, what support students need, and making sure that we're providing those support for those needs. That's how we get these points, and we have to make sure that we're hitting those low-hanging fruits. Those are things that are out there we can just get. So we're missing a lot of low-hanging fruit that we have to get. Thank you. At this time, I'll invite Dr. Powell.
Thank you, Superintendent. My name is Tiffany McConnell, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. And as I listen to the Superintendent share our performance data, it really does reinforce just how essential it is that we confront this data with clarity, with very strong a sense of urgency, and with shared responsibility. So in response, we're committing to an approach that addresses the root causes that are reflected in this data And each of our improvement efforts are aligned to strategic priority number 2, college-ready teaching and learning. Here you'll see 4 key components or approaches that we are committed to taking. The first is school turnaround plans. We have 4 schools that have been identified as school turnaround schools, and what that means is that these schools have to have developed turnaround plans that have measurable goals and clear action steps that are monitored frequently. They also have a leadership team where they collaborate and they problem solve around these action steps. Accreditation plan, our superintendent has just shared with you this very accelerated plan where we have to act with precision. We have about 17 weeks to implement this plan with fidelity to ensure that we have the outcomes that we want to reach and we meet our targeted goals. NPI targets per school. Each school has target NPIs where they are developing a plan where they actually identify students, numbers of students based on a formula that they would need to move from each proficiency level. That NPI target also will be monitored very closely, in some cases weekly, to see if we're actually moving students at the rate that we need to move them so that we can reach our goals by the end of this school year. College and career readiness plans. We have expanded our pathways. We now have pathways at our elementary schools that begin with our PL2W. We have very strong advising at our high school and our middle schools, and we've also expanded our AP courses. Accountability, monitoring, and professional growth. Each of our schools participate in what's called professional learning communities, where they collaborate. There is
Good evening, everyone. We're going to come back and reassemble. We're going to come back and reassemble and have our groups to present out. So if you all could come, if you could bring your conversations to a close, thank you. Thank you for bringing your conversations to a close. Thank you for bringing your conversation to a close. We're almost there. We're almost there. Just a few more. Thank you for sharing, and we're going to now have our groups to share out. Thank you.
Actually, we're going to start. So we're going to begin with community engagement. And again, this is items that were discussed at the tabletop about how we can all work together to engage the community. Do we have a...
I can. All right, so I try to encompass what every table that talked about how can we engage the community, and I changed it a little bit to how can we engage the community and increase the parents' experience. So what our groups pretty much talked about and our overall themes were more culturally relevant events, parent-requested events, having midday, evening, and virtual options when it comes to having district events, because I'm gonna use like our parent committee for example. So usually when the superintendent have his parent committee meetings, those are held during the day, but possibly not only having them during the day, but having like a virtual option and the evening option as well, so more parents can attend, because a lot of our school community parents work while their kids are at school, so just having more options for them. Having district staff visibility at community events, because in the Normandy area, we do have a lot of events going on, and like our students and families love to see us at those events, so just, you know, like making sure we have more district representation at those events. Creating more welcoming and informed spaces for parents in all of our schools. Having a parent university, and what this could look like is basically like on a monthly basis, just like having sessions for parents to attend so they can learn a lot of these little buzzwords that they hear all the time, especially like when it comes to like Power School, learning what Power School is, how to navigate that. Attendance, how can you as a parent help us, you know, increase the attendance? The SPED process, that's a big one, you know, just understanding what is our SPED process, what's the care team process, what does that look like? And last but not least, wraparound partners and tutoring programs. We do have some strong wraparound services, but we can even increase that a notch, because I just learned from one of our group mates who was a representative from AMSU that, you know, like they do have funds available for like after school tutoring and things of that nature, so just strengthening like our partnerships that we have within the community. I'm not at the moment, but she, you know, she gave us information about it, and so, no, you're fine. So that's, I already made that note, like, you know, we're definitely looking into that, because I'm all about free, so I love begging for money, so I'm definitely gonna be reaching out to her. Right.
And I would say that it's a possibility. So I would not, I didn't mean that we already have an existing like after school tutoring program, but I think it's like a possibility, maybe like contact organizations such as AMSO or other institutions and see if there are like opportunities for collaboration, because we do have like a education department there, pretty strong, and engaging with the community is one of what we like our mission, right? So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to partner with other institutions. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And our last one, I'm not reading that. It said food, having food at every event.
So next, we're going to hear about how we can all work together to improve attendance. Do we have a?
Okay, we have like too much stuff on here. I think the key thing that we have on here is, I think the key thing that we have on here is that the kids help to drive attendance, and I think we're looking at it in the other way. It shouldn't be a disciplinary thing. It should be the kids want to come to school because it's so much fun and they're learning so much stuff and there's so much to engage them versus a punitive situation where they're coming because they have to. Learning oftentimes for kids is a byproduct of the other things that they do. So it's about how do you make the school a destination? How do you excite the kids? How do you demonstrate? How do you allow the kids to demonstrate success in something every single day because they're interested in music or sports or whatever it may be? Making sure that you engage the kids then has an after effect that's really very positive in that it engages the parents because the kids then say, Mom, I need to go to school. Mom, I need you to come to this event, you know, whatever the case may be. So, you know, that's very important. I heard Dr. Payne mention something about education, and the best educator of the parents are the kids, and so that's one of the things we had there. The other thing is the understanding of through lines. When we're talking about before care, after care, summer opportunities, those are not just opportunities for babysitting. Those are opportunities to extend your learning hours because you connect all those pieces together. So you have your morning snack, you do some reading, you go to class, you do another snack, you do your homework, you do some more, you know, and so all of those are opportunities for us to connect that through line. The same thing with summer experiences. You know, how do you engage? I know Dr. Spray's into, you know, science. How do you engage using gardening and things of that nature? But then it's tying to science and it's tying to literacy and so forth. One of the things we talked about was psychological as well as physical safety. We keep seeing safety come up, and one of our team members here said that some of that safety is actually psychological, not just physical, because they're walking into the building, and oftentimes they're walking into a building that is, you know, like I will say, it's kind of like going through the middle passage, okay? There's like these metal detectors, it's a narrow hall, there's people with guns and badges and uniforms, and there are things that we can do to make that less ominous and to make it more, you know, more safe. And then when they get past that, to make it more welcoming so that the kids know that we want them to be here. Okay, so it's about relationships, not just the physical, are the doors locked and things of that nature. One of the other things we talked about was that there needs to be some consistency as it relates to conversations around what's happening with kids, i.e. suspensions and things of that nature, so that that follow-up process, so when that kid comes back, there's a, you know, there's a thing that happens when they come back. There's a re-entry, there's an exit, there's, you know, all those kinds of things. Something else that we talked about was, communication and how each family is doing as it relates to their kids and the importance of using Power School to do that. And we don't have a lot of our families right now on Power School, so we've got to figure out how to do that. That could be through, you know, a contest or whatever it is. But if that's our tool to communicate, then we need to make that our tool to communicate and really force the issue so that we can make sure that they have as much information as possible around Power School. The other thing about Power School, however, is we need to have more than one expert on Power School, okay? So if we, whatever the system is that we put in, yes, you have to have somebody that's the system leader, but there should be a subject matter expert at every single location and a backup. You have to have redundancy, so if there's a problem, then somebody can help with that problem. And that's not just that they kind of got the handout, but rather that they went to the training and they genuinely understand that process so they can help parents. Because parents should be coming to us via that front door, which is a welcoming center, okay? And they should be able to access Power School or whatever it is there if they don't have it at home. We talked about the fact that coding was very important. We talked about some of the challenges because we have students that are transient and how proportional attendance impacts us negatively in that way. And so one of the notes that we put down is that that may be something that we could look at to see if there's some support that we can lend to help make that happen. And you know, and the whole process of transferring students and tracking students and so forth, how do we support that a little bit better? And then another thing that we had on here is that parents are concerned oftentimes about after-school safety. We hear all the time, the parents didn't sign up for tutoring, the parents didn't sign up for the after-school program, but nobody ever puts the dots together and says, it's because the kid doesn't have a way home. We've got kids walking home on St. Charles Rock Road. I work for MoDOT. That is a highway. Okay? I would not have my child walking on St. Charles Rock Road. So you have to have, if you're going to have these activities that the kids are going to go to after school or before school, you also have to have support to help with that. Okay? Did I miss anything? Okay, thank you. I don't know who's next.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear how we can boost academic performance. Here you go.
How's everybody doing today? This evening. Big day. Okay, how can we boost academic performance? One was create academic plans for students, involve stakeholders, and work on skills. Radically change how students progress from one grade to the next. Build teacher capacity to enrich and intervene. There's also college and career readiness in middle school, and what's this called, the AVID program? I'm not familiar with it. I guess introducing it to the middle school. Over here we have summer engagement with students and parents, so parents know what's going on in the district. Summer reading programs, year-round programs, program like the library with incentives, may work with the library system. This attendance is key, so I guess it piggybacks on attendance. Contests and incentives for students and parents. Come to school 100% of the time and get an incentive. A pep rally before school, maybe within the community. After school enrichment for students. Clubs, sports, STEM, and things of that nature. And on this one, all students come to school every day on time, ready to learn. Continue to focus on priority standards, incentives for teachers, incentives for teachers. Evenly distribute performance level scores for MAP and EOC. Parent accountability. Focus on delivering solid Tier 1 core instruction, old school blue books, I don't know what that is, and intranet, not internet. Yes, that's it. Follow up.
In addition, one of the things that Dr. Triplett has us doing along with Dr. McConnell in our curriculum and instruction department is we're actually drilling down to the data pieces. We're actually looking at the students, we're assessing where their levels are, and we're tailoring the professional development to teach the teachers how to teach those students where they are. We're more determined and we're more laser focused now. And that's one of the things that he and Dr. McConnell have impressed upon us from day one. And that's what we're actually doing. We're actually assessing more. We're seeing where the kids are. We're drilling down to what skills are necessary and what training they need. We're giving that specific training to the teachers so that they can deliver more effective instruction. So we're expecting that we will see some gains and some turnarounds because we have shifted our focus and we are drilling down more deeper, and we're less at the surface and more looking at the specific kid, how we can help that kid grow, how we can give the teachers what they need. So we wanted to make sure that everyone knew that there is a concerted effort to really drill down the data, to lift up the children and give the teachers and the students what they need, and we expect that we're going to see some gains.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we're going to close out the participation activity, but do know that the notes, we capture all of the notes and we'll make sure they're posted on the website for your viewing. That said, I want to turn the microphone over to Lisa Serino so that she can close us out.
Thank you. On behalf of the department, I really want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Yes, it is a cold and now dark winter evening, but the level of engagement inside this room and the conversations and the participation has been very intense and very encouraging. I think there's lots of rich information that the district can use toward the ultimate goal, which is regaining accreditation and supporting all of the students in the district. I want to thank the Normandy School Board members who were able to be here this evening, current and past. Thank you to Dr. Petty and Dr. Triplett and Normandy High School for hosting this event. And the hearing is adjourned. Thank you.